Marc MacSharry.
Thanks very much, Lás Ceann, and thanks for the opportunity just to make a few brief comments on the legislation. I suppose this issue is one that's polarised Ireland for many generations, very, very difficult for many of us, and one that's very, very personal to most of us in terms of our views. I'm grateful to our party for, I suppose, laying out a pathway going back 6 years in terms of, respecting the right of conscience of people on this to take their personal view, and indeed other parties, your own minister included, followed suit in terms of respecting that and allowing people the opportunity for a free vote on the issue that has probably most polarised Irish society for many generations. I was a no voter. I chose not to campaign, preferring to leave it in the main to civil society groups to advocate the various sides of the argument, because I felt that they were best placed and best qualified to do so, and for the most part they did it very well. I thought it was a very respectful referendum in the main by both sides, and the debates in here, less so in the media at times. I think that there were aspects of media that got very evocative in their own writings on behalf of both sides, as opposed to the individual protagonists on both sides themselves, and that was regrettable. I voted no, as I said, and the outcome from my perspective is one that saddens me. My position on this is not based on church teachings, it's not based on political expediency, it's not based on anything other than my own personal judgment and thoughts on it, and I have profound respect for everybody with the totally opposite view, and I respect that they have come to their own decisions based on their own personal analysis of the facts and morality and so on, and that's fine, and I've taken mine. Given the outcome of the referendum, and the people have spoken, and I very much hoped that I would be in a position to separate my personal view on this issue from legislative responsibilities. And I know that the people voted in a referendum in substantial numbers to repeal the 8th Amendment and on legislation that would broadly be reflected by the march heads of the legislation that are before us, as opposed to the July ones. And I did state after the campaign that I would support the legislation. Sadly, I've been struggling an awful lot with my conscience on this issue, and I'm not sure that I can. And I do look forward to committee stage and hopefully engaging in the process, but I do have concerns about the conscientious objection of doctors, and while I know it's dealt with in the bill, in part it's not as clear as it could have been. I think that there is the potential to lay down in legislation the provision of appropriate services and the entitlement to appropriate services and counselling for people, particularly in what you're proposing as a 72-hour period. I'm hoping you won't rise to calls for the 72-hour period to be taken out. But as things stand, I don't think I will be able to vote for second stage next week. And I acknowledge that is contrary to what I said, look, after the referendum, where I said that, look, I suppose I have to separate my personal view from the legislative responsibilities, but I'm afraid I don't think I can. This is born out, quite frankly, of fear based on previous experience and the amount of people. I feared this will become, the contraceptive of choice for people down the line, not today, not next week, not even next year, but in time. And that it'll just become something that's the norm as opposed to the hard cases, and that's a concern. That's a concern for me that I still very much have. That said, I won't be obstructing the legislation. I hope to play a part at committee stage and take views on various amendments, and certainly won't want to obstruct it or unnecessarily delay its passage. But I do wanted to put on record that, having said that, I do want to respect the democratic outcome of the referendum. I'm afraid that my conscience may not permit me to do that. Thank you, Lasky.
An